you doing, YouTube? It's Will from Will Development, and this is my 315th weekly update. Boy, we're really getting up there in numbers. I believe my yearly update's going to be coming up. Oh man, I think I'm late on that actually. I'll do it this weekend. I just realized what the date is, how it's October 1st, 2nd, October 2nd, and I did not do my update, which I believe happens in September, or near the end, so I'll have that out. Just as soon as I can, I'll pull a bunch of footage this weekend and work on it. I actually have a kind of an open-ish weekend in terms of I can have the ability to sit down and do that. So I'll work on that for anybody who's curious. So we'll get through it, I promise. Notable this week did drop the Stone Experiment video, which means I will be finishing up the Stone Masterclass videos soon, very soon. Have all the footage, just got to put it all together. Unfortunately, I like organized all of it, but I never actually started it. So I've got to start it, organize it, figure out what's here, what's there, what needs to be put in, where, if I need to reshoot anything, etc., and etc. And that's where we're at with that. So, and it's all good. We'll get through this, I promise. But if you haven't checked out the Stone video, go check that out. Feel free to share it, leave a comment on it, all that good stuff. The few people that I know have seen it have said they liked it, said it was informative, they liked it. That was about all they had to say, and that's all I was shooting for. So, feel free to check it out. Let me know what you think, questions, comments, concerns, all that kind of good stuff. And we'll go from there. No 2 video coming out next week. The gym was just crazy busy, and I didn't have time to sit there and wait for somebody to record me every time. And when I say it's busy and I don't have somebody, those are 2 separate problems. When it's super busy, I don't have a place where I can just set up my phone to record for me without a person actually doing it. And so it's one of those things where it's just too much work to try to like, oh hey, can you stay out of the way while I do this stupid thing. Not that I think it's particularly stupid, it's just like, they're trying to work out and or train. I'm trying to do the same thing. If I have to stop and record it just takes time. And if I can't grab somebody to do it for me because they're busy, then, there it is. Those are 2 problems. But let's talk about this week. Monday went pretty okay. It wasn't, wait, how did Monday go? Monday went pretty good, actually. I believe I hit 315 for a few sets of 2 on squats. I'm hovering around that area right now because I'm retooling my stance once again, trying to get my feet a little more forward, because I noticed a bit of knee cave-in on some of my squats, and I'm doing 2 things to mitigate that. One, really focusing on keeping the knees out a little bit more, which activates the glutes a little bit more. And the second thing I'm doing is pointing my toes just slightly more forward, because the idea being that the knee is a hinge joint, which means it only goes up and down, right? It's only supposed to go, open and close, essentially. I'm just using normal people terms, bear with me. So if there's tension, say pulling it like that, because the elbow is a hinge joint too, right? So if there's something pulling it like that, it's going to start pulling in other places, because this doesn't want to bend. And the knee is the same thing, so it's going to start putting pressure on my hips, because it's going to start wanting to bend in, or worst case, because there's actual pressure pushing down, it could damage my knees. So it's one of those things where I'm like, all right, let's start pointing the toes a little more forward. Stance width is good. I'm content with where it's at. And more glute activation, sort of mentally. And I'm also working on keeping the upper back much tighter, which is a big challenge for me because it's a big weak spot on me, especially on squats. My upper back just wants to let go every time I do anything. Just bad habits I've picked up over the years, so I'm working on it. We'll get through it, we'll move on. Deadlifts on Monday went pretty good, though. As I recall, I pulled 425 for 2 singles, which that used to be my old max. So that's exciting to be pulling that for, two singles, but, in one session being able to pull it twice, that made me feel good. Tuesday was really good for the incline log press. Did 3 sets of 5 at 170, and then I did 2 sets of 2 at 190. Now the weight I'm going to be using at the actual comp is 200, and I've had to unfortunately work myself up to that weight. I was hoping I'd be closer than I was when I first started, but it's good because a few weeks ago I couldn't even move the 190. Couldn't even budget. So now I'm doing it for 2s, as of Tuesday anyway. Wednesday off. Thursday was a rough one. Thursday was a really rough one. I felt sluggish. I felt tired. I ended up just doing like 2 singles at 315. I wanted to go up to 335, but honestly, it was taking so much more out of me than I would have hoped just to keep that upper back tight, but it's something I need to do, that it was just to the point where I said, if I take this 335 down, I know I'm going to lose tension, and I don't want to do that. I want to focus on keeping that tension really good, because I know it's going to be better for me in the long run. My legs are more than capable of doing it. My hips and back are more than capable, at least from the T-spine down anyway, the bottom of the, I should say cervical spine down. I know it can handle the weight. I know it can handle a lot more weight than that, actually, but I want it to look better, I want it to be better, and I want to be better at the movement. And so that's where I was. And then deadlifts, I felt just torn up and tired the whole time. I ended up just working up to a single at 405. And then I said, I don't want to go any heavier. I feel terrible. That felt terrible. Apparently the rep didn't look as bad as it felt, but it just felt awful. So I dropped back down, did a little work around 350, just to do something. And so that's where we're at. But, that's sort of the beauty of doing multiple days of the same movements. You can have days like that. I've talked about this before. You could have weeks of that. Sometimes it's just like that. Being that I sort of felt my body was in the need of almost a deload, I took the executive decision and decided to work up to a every minute on the minute with just 170 on the log press, knowing that I was capable of doing 5 reps with it. I said, okay, let me just do sets of 2, just something to move it, but I'll do 10 sets of it, so that'll be the most reps I've ever done with that weight, total volume, right? Because before that, 3 sets of 5, that's 15, right? So that's 5 extra reps I did with that particular weight in a short, constrained time with limited rest periods. And it gives me 10 sets of cleans with the log, which is something I needed to work on. So beautiful, right? So I did that, and that was actually after I was waiting for a spot to open up that I could set up with. And while I was waiting, I ended up working in with one of the guys, and he was doing pause bench, and I said, yeah, I'll just do some bench too. I haven't done bench in a while. Just worked up to, he was doing sets of 3 with pausing, and I did that up until 225, and then when I hit 255, I just did a single, easy, and then I said, let me just do 275 just to make sure I still got that in me. Did the 275, just a touch and go, and it was just boom, it just came right up. And I was like, cool, I'm not injured, I have more work to do, let me just stop there. And that's what I did, and then did the log after that. So, skipped my accessories tonight because I'm going to do them tomorrow. Wanted to come home early for once. And I'm going to do them tomorrow because Sunday I'm going to another gym where they're doing an event day for Tampa's. So I said, all right, well, rather than do events on Saturdays like I normally would, I'll just do accessory work for back, triceps on Saturday, and then I'll come in on Sunday to Iron Life and do some events there. So that's where we're at. That was my week. That is the update. So remember, one bad training session does not mean a whole lot. Now, 15, 20 of them, you might be doing something wrong. 1, 2, even 5 a month, that's not awful. It doesn't necessarily mean something needs to be drastically changed. You might just need to tweak X and Y. And I mean, it could be something as simple as just technique. when you have bad training sessions like that in a row. 15, you might need some drastic changes. 5 in a month, you could just be having some really bad days, and it could just be something as simple as exercise order or even technique tweaks. I mean, there's so many things that go into it. So that's just something to think about. So don't feel bad if you just have 1 or 2 bad sessions. It's okay. It happens. Tone it down, get the work done, come back the next day, it's a new day. If you don't, then what's your excuse?